What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and I thought I would do something a little bit different for you guys today. Not a news story, but kind of a recognition. Today is the 12-year anniversary of God of War 3. The Game Awards, good old Jeff Keighley, reminded us of that today on Twitter, and I just kind of want to talk about my experience with this game. Kind of just, I saw the tweet, I made a tweet, and then about 30 seconds after I made that tweet, I just hit record, and I'm going to go on. So I have such fond memories of this game. This is one of, in fact, funny enough, literally yesterday I was talking to my cousin about some of the best games that I've ever played, and a lot of them are older games, and I guess not older as in like 20 years old, but older just as in not the last like 5 or so years. None of the games that I think that have come out in the last 5 or so years have matched some of the games that have come out, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever it was. God of War 3 is one of my favorite games of all time, and I'll never forget the first time I played this game. This was actually in the era where I would play most of these, I guess specifically Sony first-party games, with my friend Nick. I would always wait, and him and I would play these games together. I do believe we played this game the first day it came out, but it took us we didn't power through it all in one go. So this is not like the anniversary of me beating the game or anything, but I do think I played the game the first day it came out with him, and I just remember being just like jaw dropped and at the time I played this game, I wasn't even what would be considered a God of War fan. I think God of War 3 is what made me. I do believe I played the first two. I actually think I rented them from like a local, place that you could do that with. I did that. I've played at this point. I've played almost all of them. Maybe I've missed. I know I played like Ghost of Sparta. I played some of those. Maybe I missed like one, but I think I've played all of them or most of all of them at this point. But at the time of God of War 3, I really had only played 1 and 2. I wasn't all that interested in it. I remember seeing the trailer of 3 when he's fighting on Gaia's back, I believe, right, when he's fighting the monsters, and that was, I believe, the first clip they had ever shown of it. I mean, and that was incredible, and that was enough for me to get it. And then just starting it out with that Poseidon boss fight, I don't really know how you do it, bigger. Now, this game is kind of an example of like big, and it's so big, it's so epic. And then, is the game at its core good? I still really think so. I mean, I think this was probably that final nail in the coffin blow of like Kratos just being an angry man just screaming all the time. I do think this was kind of like the finishing hit where it's like, yeah, he really is that. But I actually, like, that is true. He was that, right? And I do think even like God of War 2018 added a little bit more to him. But I would say there was an okay amount, like with Pandora's Box and all that stuff. I think there was a good amount of depth to what they were trying to do with him in 3. Now, I know not everybody likes that. I think even like David Jaffe, right, the creator, didn't like the idea of like hope and all that stuff. I get that. But again, like at the time, and I would even say now, I really didn't mind it at all. I just have truly, like when I'm thinking about it like right now, like all the boss fights and stuff, just the best memories. Fighting Hades, fighting Poseidon, obviously the entire Zeus kind of arc at the end. I mean, it was incredible start to finish. It had kind of everything, right? Even when you go down like the Hercules route and you're trying to do some of like the puzzle solving, it's like what more can you really ask for this kind of game? You know what I mean? Even like the weaponry and the powers that you could do in this game were, far exceeding anything we've ever played in these games before. But really that Poseidon one, like I keep going back to that in my mind. Like, how do you start a game? I guess again, any bigger? I don't think you can. You could argue, well, is it necessarily, again, like, is it good because it's big, or is it, like, what's the reason for it? I mean, I just thought that first Poseidon boss fight was freaking amazing. Remember the first person? I think they showed part of that first person look beforehand, because I think I knew that part was coming, or maybe I'm completely just making that stuff up, but I mean, like, that was absolutely epic too, seeing Kratos just pummel you from the other side, not as Kratos. But I also remember at the time, and I don't know if this game, well, no, I still think this game probably visually holds up pretty okay. At the time, I mean, this was one of the prettiest, I think, games that were out there, right? You go so 12 years years ago. So we're looking at 2010. I mean, I think it was one of, if not, up there in the very, very top tier of best looking games at the time that could have came out. And then again, you couple that with the scale of it, and again, you couple it too with the journey. And again, it didn't even mean that much to me, the journey. But now, because again, I've gone back. I think I've even replayed 1 and 2 since that. I've definitely watched, many, many times cutscenes of all of these different games just to kind of relive it, right? But I think that impact is there, and tying together and finishing really the story of all of these games. Even that ending. I mean, that ending is kind of freaking awesome, right? And even I guess what the ending after the credits, where it's like, oh, Kratos, like he climbs, or he falls over the edge. Now that doesn't necessarily mean he lived, but it means there could be stuff going forward. But also just the sense that this could very well be it. And obviously, it wasn't. In fact, even they made Ascension after that, which I thought actually was a pretty solid game. I know not everybody loves that game, but at the time, it's like they really. You could end it right here. You could end it right here, and you'd be, more than fine. Even Uncharted 3 was kind of similar, a little bit different, but these kind of games have that feeling where it's like if you wanted to end it here, you gave yourself an out, and you gave yourself a pretty darn good out. And specifically with God of War, right? It completely ended that mythology because you literally killed everybody. I mean, you ruined that world, or I guess what we now know, like that part of the land or whatever you want to call it, right? I mean, you completely screwed it up. So it's like it's completely finished. There's no staying there anymore. You killed its leader. You killed all of the the god brethren around it. It's like you have nothing else to do. So at the very least, you have to go somewhere else after that. And again, obviously it took, because you do the prequel after that, and it took them a very long time. I mean, God of War 2018, this was 2010. So to really continue the journey of Kratos off of God of War 3 took 8 years in the making, obviously, and then it came out. So incredible. I have just the greatest memories of this game. I really do. As soon as I saw that tweet, I thought, and I remember I bought the game, and I texted my friend Nick again, and I was like, okay, I have it, and then we had like a rule where like I couldn't start it, and this was a agreed upon rule. I couldn't start it until he came over, right? I couldn't get a head start, and then he came over, I think like later that afternoon, and I think we beat up to Hades, and then we stopped, and then we did it probably took us 3. I don't remember too much of like that part of the experience after it, but I do remember that first day, and I remember texting him like, all right, I have it, like I'm ready to go. I'm very excited to play it, but I'm not going to play it without you. I definitely remember that. And then it normally took us a couple game sessions in order to finish it. But man, and actually, I think right before he came over, and like as I was texting him, that was, I believe, the same time as, remember the show was a Tester? Is that what it was called? That PlayStation show where they brought people in and they did the different games, and then they did in front of like a panel and stuff. I think David Jaffe was actually one of them at the time, right? I think I was watching that while, right up to, leading it. So great times, a long time ago, 12 years ago. So I was 13 years old, and just amazing memories, amazing memories. Happy 12th to God of War 3. Truly a game that I'll always remember, a game that I really do think is one of my favorite games of all time. Again, I get that it did certain things for the fandom, or that it didn't, I guess, do certain things for the fandom. I understand that, but it'll always hold a very, very special place in my heart. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up, and I hope to see you all on tomorrow's video.